Okay, so I think we are live now. So, hello everyone. My name is Francis Andorful, and today I have with me Edmond Boamah, who is from Digital Earth Africa. Over the week, as part of our celebration, we decided to speak with people who are actually making mark in the industry, and this is for all of us to learn from their history, all of us to be able to understand where they came from, how they have moved throughout the journey, what inspires them, the challenges ahead if we are to meet the same challenges, and also be inspired to take up GIS in a different direction. And I think that I'm excited because I've observed him from a distance for some time, and I know there's a lot of things that I'm going to learn from him, and I hope you also learn too. So Eddie, I'm going to call him Eddie, but then on your screen you see Edmond Boamah. That's his full name. So Eddie, welcome.
Thank you, Francis. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So I think we'll start with just telling us about yourself, your name, your organization, hobbies, and maybe educational background for those who do not know you personally to get to know you.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, hello, everyone. My name is Edward Boamah, and currently I work with Digital Earth Africa as the technical manager for the program. Within the program, I actually help institutions to actually utilize the Digital Earth Africa infrastructures that we have to do their works, especially in relation to solving most of the problem with our natural resources. So I support institutions, NGOs, and also academics to be able to utilize that platform. Um, I completed in I completed KNUST with both at my first degree, that's the bachelor in geomatic engineering, and also did my master's also in KNUST in geoinformation science. So currently I have my master's in relation in GIS also. Mostly as part of the things that I like, I normally like to read a lot, especially storybooks and also the technology world, what is actually trending. I actually like to read all those things. And when it comes to the stories or the novels, I actually prefer science fictions. And also, I'm also a fan of animation, the mangas, which I actually also read a lot every week just to abreast with it. I also like to play games, but I'm not that much fan of it. But when it comes to the normal, I also like football, which I have a team that I actually also support, but I won't mention the team here. But aside that, but aside that, I'm just normal liking to read a lot of things around because right now one of the things I've noticed is due to technology, there's a lot of things are coming day in and day out. And if you don't get yourself abreast with it, especially if you don't like to read about what is actually happening, before you realize you'll be far behind. And through that, I've actually been engaging in a lot of reading for those things, and actually, it has actually becomes my hobby. That's something that I've actually been doing.
Oh, okay, cool. So I was a bit curious. Your masters. Where did you do your masters?
Oh, I also did it at KNUST, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology.
Oh, okay, okay, cool. All right, so viewers, Eddie is going to tell us a bit about his organization. We'll allow him to do a presentation to us so that we can be able to understand. I've heard of Digital Earth Africa, but I think that I've not had a chance to learn more about what they do. So this will be a good opportunity for all of us to come to know about what Digital Africa is, what they are doing, and then we can all appreciate and support in any way that we can. So Eddie, you can share your screen and then we can start going live. I think we
Okay, thank you, Francis. Please, can you see my screen?
yes, I can see.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to just use the next 10 minutes to 15 minutes to talk about what Digital Earth Africa is actually all about and how each and every one of us can actually utilize this platform and engage in it to actually help us to be able to use it in monitoring, or maybe even within our daily life, some of the works that we have been doing in the institutions, how you can actually utilize this data. So my first slide actually asks about what is Digital Earth Africa. So Digital Earth Africa, one of our vision is to provide a routine and reliable and operational services using Earth observation to deliver decision-ready products. That's to enable the policymakers, scientists, and private sectors to address social, environmental, and economic changes on the continent and develop an ecosystem for innovation across across the sectors. So normally within our continent we have a lot of natural resources available to us, which we are very rich in it. But as time goes on, these natural resources also became uh, are under threat. So how can we actually help to do this monitoring? And with the invention of Earth observation data making available to all of us, what Digital Earth Africa is trying to do is to get those data for the African continent to be able to help us do this monitoring. So at the end of the day, all our natural resources will be able to manage it, and it will also be able to help us to get the Africa that we want. So these natural resources that we have are also under threat. Some are deforestation, which is actually happening within our forest reserves. When it comes also to the food security, urbanization, we are actually increasing in number in case of population, but how do we manage all these things? Coastal erosion, as what just happened in Keita, and also the water resources and flood risks. All these are threats that actually is imposed on our natural resources. And it would be good to have a data that can actually help us to do this monitoring in connection with other data. And that's why Digital Earth Africa actually comes in with this product. The Digital Earth Africa program is for Africa. So we have our project management office in South Africa, and all the data that we have is being hosted in South Africa for the whole continent. So as you can see, the data that you have is completely free, and you can either use it for academic purposes or for even for the industrial purposes or commercial purposes. There is no restriction added to the data that we are going to use. Also, the data can, because it's actually optimized, you can use it and it's very fast. You can actually download the data and use those data available. Not only are you providing you with these data sets, but also we are giving you a training on how to use these data sets. We have a help desk team available. Whenever you find yourself in trouble, you can reach out to this team to help you to help you debug the issue. And also you provide trainings on how to use the platform and how to develop use cases. So for instance, if you have a problem that you think you can use Earth observation data to solve, the digital Earth team is also ready there to support you on ways on how you can actually do that. And also, with in relation to SDGs, Earth observation data are very, very important to be able to get some, because at the end of the day, SDGs, people, we have to report on the SDGs. And to be able to report on the SDGs, Earth observation data also plays a role in it for some of the reporting. So having Earth observation data with other traditional data available, you can combine them together to also report on some of the activities within the SDGs. Some of the SDGs that Earth observation data can actually help is the zero hunger, clean water and sanitation, industry, sustainable cities, climate action, life below water, and life on land. All these things, Earth observation data can actually help us to do that. And Digital Earth Africa is providing those data connection to Africa for us. So we are working with a lot of partners across the continent. So as you can see on the screen, some of the partners that we have here in Ghana is the University of Energy and Natural Resources and also Ghana Statistical Service. We work with them to make sure that this product that we have here would be used by the government agencies in areas that they can actually have much benefit from us. So we work with them, but aside that, not only are these institutions that we are working with, but we are almost across everywhere in Africa. So in Kenya, in Niger, in Nigeria, Senegal, and Tunisia, we are there. Digital healthcare is diverse and inclusive, so we are not trying to only focus on one area, or maybe we want to make sure that everybody is inclusive, whether the gender, the youth, people with disability. Digital Health Africa is implementing this diverse and inclusive program, and we were guided by those principles, so that at the end of it, we are going to have this gender equality, male, female, the youth, and everybody to be involved within the program for Africa. So who can use the Digital Health Africa platform? Everybody. Because it's built on the open data cube model and is free and accessible to all, everybody can use the platform. You don't actually have to be a geospatial expert, no. With any kind of discipline where you are coming from, if you want to actually know how to use this platform, you can use this platform without actually having any difficulties. And the team is also there to guide you and to help you to utilize the platform. Then I've been talking about the Earth observation data. So what are some of the data sets that we have on the platform? Currently, all the data sets that we have covers the African region and is hosted in Amazon, Cape Town. The data is freely accessible and is also optimized for analysis. And the data that we have is analysis ready satellite data sets. That means most of the initial processes have already been done for you. So you don't have to do those processes. So currently, the data sets that we have within the platform, we have the Sentinel-2 Level 2A, which every Friday, it has a revisit period of every Friday, and the spatial resolution is 10 meters. It actually started capturing from 2017 up to now. We also have the Landsat 2 collection, that we have it from 1980 up to now, and it's 30 meter, and the revisit time is 16 days. And we also have the Sentinel-1 backscatter, that's 20 meter, and the real visit period is every 12 days. And as we speak, it also starts from 2017 up to now. So all these data sets are actually hosted within the platform and is freely available for everyone to use. Aside that, we have additional data sets that we keep to add on to it, and day in and day out, more are being added. So aside the ones that I previously mentioned, we also have the Allospatial annual mosaic, the digital elevation model, we have the CHIPS monthly rainfall data, we also have the Esri land use land cover, which is actually from Planetary Computer, the Microsoft Planetary Computer. Then we also have the ESA World cover, and more data sets are always being injected into the database day in and day out. So aside the raw data sets that we have, we also have products for the African continent. And one of the products that we have is the water observation from space, which actually span from 1980 up to now, and it's built on top of the Landsat collection. The water observation from space algorithm actually helps to detect the frequency of water that actually are being observed by the satellite imagery. We also have the crop mass, which is currently ongoing. But as I speak now, we have the Eastern, the Southern, the Northern, and Western Africa. Those maps are ready and it's in production. That when you visit the site, you'll be able to see them. And we also have the Sentinel-2 and the Landsat 2 annual GeoMAD. That's the cloud-free composite of these images that we've actually combined them to develop the GeoMedium for the Sentinel-2 and the Landsat. Aside this, there are a lot of products that are also being developed, and you add them to it as time goes on. How do you actually access these data sets that I've actually talked about? So we have ways that you can actually access these data sets. The first one is you can use the map, the Digital Earth Africa map. It's very user friendly and everybody can use that one. You don't actually have to be a developer. You can just go there, it's click and drop, and you'll be able to utilize the data sets there. You also have the DA Africa Sandbox. What the sandbox actually does, it actually gives you the ability to do further analysis on the data sets. And with that, you have to actually get a programming skill, which is Python programming skills. And if you have knowledge in machine learning also, it's also a greater advantage because The sandbox also allows you to use these machine learning skills on the data sets to generate products out of it. Aside that, we also provide an OWMS map services where if you have a ArcGIS or QGIS, you can actually connect to these data sets directly and work within your GIS software that you have with your machine. All that you need is to have internet access, and through that you'll be able to also get access to those data sets. So this is the map interface, and you can get access to when you visit the digital earth.africa. You send you to the map section, and you also have the sandbox, which when you register you also have the ability to do further analysis, which actually is built on top of the Python code. All these platforms currently are in two languages, either French or English. So if you are francophone and you want to utilize the platform, you can just change it, you can switch it from English to French, and you'll be able to have access to all everything in French and to use it. So it actually also makes it user friendly. It's not only for English speakers, but also those who speak French can also use the platform. We also have the interactive notebooks, which is also currently developed within the platform. And with this, what they actually do is once you log onto the sandbox, instead of you to follow a series of codes, you won't do that. But once you run it, you get this interactive whereby you'll be able to select places for you to work with. And having that, it will actually help you, makes it easier. So if you are someone who is actually afraid of codes, when you see code lines of codes and it actually puts you off, the sandbox also gives you access to these interactive ones whereby you can just click and it will develop the algorithms for you. And this one is a tool for wetlands. So what are some of the use cases that you've actually developed with the product within Ghana? This is one of the use cases, and this is Apampama Forest Reserve. This is using the Geomedian, the Sentinel-2 Geomedian annual product. And you realize that from 2017 to 2020, within the span of 3 years, the forest reserve has actually have a nice changes within it due to deforestation. And as we speak, by in 2020, about 10% of the forest reserve has been lost to deforestation. It could be mining or it could be cutting down of trees. So as you can see, this is one of the things, some of the things you can use the platform to do. The water observation from space also, as you can see, this is the all-time summary from 1985 to 2020. And this is the water observation from space for the whole of Ghana. So all the river bodies in Ghana is what you are seeing currently here. And it gives you the frequency of how the satellite images determines these images throughout the year also. We also have another extent for urbanization extent, that's between 2015 and 2020 in Ashanti region. You can see that between 2015 and 2020, we have had about 6.685 kilometers square increase within the region. So these are some of the use cases that's actually happening within Ghana. But not only that, we have a lot of use cases across Africa. But because of these purposes, I actually focus on the ones that is happening within Ghana. So Digital Earth Africa is not just a program that you are just putting it there for people to use it, but we just want to build a community out of it. So to make it much easier and to make other people also understand and use it, we have a training platform which is learn at digitalearthafrica.org. When you go there, we have a series of training that we will continue to add up to it. And currently, we have the intro to sandbox, actually a self-paced one, and it's 6 to 10 hours. So definitely you can use a day or two to complete it. And once you are done, you'll be awarded with a certificate of completion of how to use the platform. Not only that, you also have access to help desk. So if you have any problem, you can reach to us through the help desk, whereby you put your problems there. Then we will actually respond back to you. Even if you need a one-on-one support on how to do things, the team is there to help you to be able to utilize the platform. So the takeaway points from this what I just presented, that the Digital Earth Africa program is for Africa and is expected to be managed by Africans for the full realization of the Africa we want. And it's as part of the AU Agenda 2063. And we also talk about the data sets that we have. And one of the great things that we do is every Wednesday we have a live session that actually takes place every Wednesday at 11 a.m. GMT. And we will be happy if you'll be able to come join us. And once you come, you'll notice that we have a lot of people from from the different aspects of the country within the continent who comes for us to discuss and see some of the issues that we can actually use Earth observation to solve. So you can visit us also during the live session. These are partners, and that's that. So these are some of the a little presentation that I wanted to share with you in relation to the digital letter program. Thank you.
Thank you so
Francis.
much. Yeah, thank you so much. You see, I think it's very interesting. Some years ago, data was very, very scarce. People walk around, pay so much money just to ask for information for them to understand what's happening in society. And now data is so abundant that we are begging people to come for it for free. And I think that is it's a revolution. We've gotten to a point where everyone needs to be concerned, and everyone needs to at least get the capacity to answer the questions we get when we are walking on the streets. Each of us see things in society, and we have problems with them, and we ask questions. When did this start? So has it been like this all these years? We have a lot of questions, and yes, your platform seems like you have considered almost everyone, because even if you don't, uh, if you are not from a technical GIS background or remote sensing background, you can the part that you can just select a section, and then it would show you what's happening. I think it's very interesting, and I think that we need to start using this data to understand our world. The entire SGD, my problem with it has been many countries have accepted to yes adhere to the SGD, but the point is, how are they quantifying their growth? Have they been able to say that yes, we we measure the concentration, or we measure our atmospheric uh, concentration, and now we can know that by climate pollution we have reduced it by this percentage. These are quantitative things that they project, but they don't use data like real data to be able to quantify it, and it makes it very difficult to say we have actually solved any problem. So I think we all should come there. I would definitely try the courses. I would definitely try the courses, and then especially the sandbox one. I want to try and see how it works. Okay, so Eddie, we looking at where you've gotten to now, you've gotten to a point where you are actually helping Africa solve Africa problems. Uh, can you tell us about your typical day, how it is? A typical day in Negative Africa.
Oh, okay, fine. So because we are working with implementing partners across the continent, mostly one of the things that normally actually happens is a lot of meetings whereby you meet these partners and discuss with them some of the problems that they can actually use the platform to work with. So, for instance, most of the partners have use cases that they will be happy to know how they can use the platform with to work with the platform. So you can have a meeting with them and discuss the use cases and find ways on how you can actually use the platform to work with. So you talk with them and you go through it. And if it's something that you can actually use the maps to do it, then they'll be able to do it at their end. If they have to maybe develop some algorithms, they will also let us know, and they can also develop it at their end and implement it on the platform. So the daily activity is just a lot of meetings and helping our partners and other members who are interested to use the platform and to be able to support them to do that. And that's what actually has been happening on my part almost every day.
Oh, okay. So where how did you come across? How did you get so much interested in this field? Where did this passion start from?
Okay, so I think when I was in school, my doing my first degree, because when we are doing geomatic engineering, a lot of, at the end of the day, most of us comes out as a surveyors, land surveyors, and some also goes to the mining sectors, and other also goes to the harbor, to the port, so that they also be able to marine surveyors. But when we reached third year, that's when we were introduced to GIS and remote sensing. Initially, people were talking about it being as, oh, GIS and remote sensing is actually the future for us, but mostly we are interested in, at the end of the day, I have to get a work that can actually pay me to get some money because I have to take care of myself. And I also like programming a lot. Before even I entered into the university, that's when I started developing programs using Visual Basics and C Sharp. And also when I went into the university, also I started learning MATLAB. So when I got introduced to remote sensing and GIS, I especially GIS in the first phase, I was like, oh, okay, this is very interesting to collect data and make analysis on these data to actually give you a result that will let you know an impact on what is happening on the ground based on people's decisions. So when you go to a field and collect data and you're able to analyze these data sets, not only are you able to generate the report, but at the end of the day, you know the report, the impact is going to have on the ground. It's like, oh, okay, then there's something that I can actually go because it's actually of interest, and you can develop a story out of it, sharing that story with people. So that's when I started engaging in GIS and remote sensing. Then I also saw the programming aspect also to it because I noticed that it was actually a lot of designing of maps. But if I added this programming aspect to it, I think it will give me an added advantage to it. And since then, once I got into it, I actually it became part of me. So every day, everything that I was doing, I think about how can I actually apply this using GIS, and that actually helped me through that. Even as when I finished school, my first interview that I had in SESGIS, that's my first where I had my first work, Center for Remote Sensing and Geographic Information Services. They gave me a GIS work to do. Like, okay, so you are good in GIS, you have completed school. Okay, do this work. If you're able to do it, then we will employ you. So they gave it to me. Then I did it, and I said, oh, okay, then you are our guy. So that's how GIS actually helped me. Has actually helped me. So right from school, I was able to get employed based on GIS, and that's what I've actually been doing up to now.
Okay, so you can say that GIS is the main your main stream of income.
Yes.
No, okay. That's really cool. So what is the challenge? What will you say are the challenges you face in your field?
Okay. So one of the challenges that I would actually talk about it is um, because GIS and remote sensing is something new that is actually coming up, it actually takes time and patience to be able to also transfer the knowledge that you have to others, or even for others to understand you. So, if you really want to engage within it, you have to actually have a patience to it because not everybody will understand how the approach actually works. And some of the challenges that actually comes in the ways transferring of knowledge to others, and also letting others actually helps you to get it, because there is more of a little bit of technicalities. Sometimes don't take care, you might have the greatest idea, but dealing with others, they will see all the technicalities which they don't actually understand. So at the end of the day, you will do a very great thing, but no one will be able to use it. And a lot of people are actually doing fantastic work when it comes to these areas, but communicating it to others, communicating it to those who are non-experts, those are some of the challenges that I see. That if we're able to master those areas very well, I think GIS will be something that people will actually embrace it. Don't see it as mathematical thing that people say, this thing, unless you're a geospatial person before you understand. And if you're able to do that, I think that's where you'll be able to break barriers and enter into a lot of places, because I know that anywhere that you are, you'll be able to apply this technology everywhere. So our communication should be improved, and with that, actually, it will actually help us to break all the barriers. And people, there are a lot of GIS jobs available, but just that people don't know how to tap into it. So, and that one of the best way to do is how to communicate your results. So those are some of the challenges I see around that I think people should actually look into it and use it.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting, and I like the part that you said anywhere you are, you can actually apply GIS into it. I think the motto that Wejo Spatial has is everything happens somewhere. Uh,
Yep.
Everything around us is actually location. The reason why we are where we are now is because we have always talked about the problems without where they are happening, and so we were not able to carry solutions to the location where it is needed, and that has been our problem. So I
Yep.
think that it's very interesting for all of us to understand that no matter where you are, this is it's not about you being an expert. It's not really about you being having a geography background or maybe a geomatic background, but it is the quest. Are you troubled with the problems that's happening in society? And if you have the desire, then learning becomes very easy. If not, it becomes a bit technical for you. But on the technical question, I think throughout the week during our podcast, I've learned a couple of things. One of them was there was Ben Akins was on the seat, and he's coming from GIZ. And when Ben Akins was asked whether how long whether people should be worried about GIS, whether there's jobs for them in GIS field or not, his response was that people shouldn't care whether there will be job for them or not, because they are limited by their brains or whatever they think. And then yesterday we Newton was also on the seat, and Isaac Newton was asked a similar question, whether he had a concern that many people say that they are GIS experts, and we are quick to say we are experts, but the field is quite broad. And I was wondering, to you, how long do you think one needs to take to say that I am an expert in GIS? How long do we need to learn?
Oh, okay. So when it comes with the aspects, with the GIS, it comes in various phases. We have the
Yeah,
technology. We have the technology that you have to understand how the technology works. We have the data collection that you also have to know how to collect the data collection and using the technology to interpret the data collection before you have the analysis aspect. So these three areas, it depends on where you find yourself within. Someone can actually be good at collecting field data and knows areas which he thinks will be much crucial for field data collection. After collecting the data, one aspect also will be very good in interpreting this data with the technology and
yeah,
plotting it every aspect out. But that person who plots it out also can't actually analyze it, because within the area of aspect. So for instance, geomatic engineers are engineers. We know the technologies, but we are not agricultural experts. But in all, we will call ourselves GIS experts. So if you are talking about GIS expert, that means you're able to actually transfer the data collected to the ground to develop an algorithm and analyze it out. Then the agriculture expert will actually come and tell you that, okay, what you've just shown here, looking at this is actually what is actually going to tell you about it. So for me, for someone to actually call himself a GIS expert, I will actually look at the area that person is actually coming from. He can understand the technology. He can actually manipulate that technology. He's an expert. Maybe he's an agriculture expert. He understands how to he understands how to interpret GIS results and for decision making. He can also call himself an expert. So depending on where the user is coming from, it could be he or she can call himself an expert due to what he wants to look into it. Aside that, with the future of GIS, I think in Africa, this is the beginning for us. No one
Yeah.
should actually get worried about. Just know the area that you actually want to work. Are you interested in looking at the technology aspect? If you're looking at the technology aspect, that means the ArcGIS, the QGIS, all the open source softwares, they are there. How are you actually able to manipulate? How are you able to manipulate these technologies? Secondly, right now there are a lot of machine learning algorithms coming. If you want to stay within the technology aspect, that means you also have to know how to use these tools, the machine learning, so that you actually know when to apply which tool and when not to apply which tool. So that's also very important. Or you can also focus on one particular area. For instance, maybe someone will only focus on water, so using his GIS technology to implement it in the water space, using the GIS to implement it in agriculture space, even within the hospitals, within banks, within a lot of areas. And right now that Ghana is also going digitalization. Anywhere you want to, you can use the platform. So what my advice would be, know the area you want to specialize within and stick to that particular area and make sure that you learn. Once you start learning, and be patient, don't actually go with the money. Be patient because people are also watching you. People are seeing your capabilities. Once you do them, they know, okay, this person actually works from the heart. He actually know what he's doing. The opportunities will start opening for you. But if you just let the wind direct you, okay, today I'm doing GIS, no, tomorrow remote sensing has come, but you don't actually have a real motive of the area that you want to specify, that's when you get lost, because you won't actually know whether you are good with a particular area, whether you are good with the technology or you are good with the data sets. So those ones so what my advice would be, the digital the GIS program is just beginning for us here in Africa, and know the area that you want to specialize there and be willing to learn. The ones you know, once you meet others, be willing to learn from them. And doing that is actually going to help you build yourself up. And the job opportunity for me is very wide open for all of us.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that. I think just today I was talking to someone, and then I told the person that it looks like GIS has become like the advance of computer science, because people who knows computer science seems to be good to have a fundamental to start a GIS application learning process. Because if we look at the kind of job opportunities available for computer scientists, and GIS is what I said, an advance of computer science, then it means that we'll have the job opportunities available for a computer science plus what is available for GIS. Because before you can learn how to do geodatabase, you have to learn how to do database itself. So
Yep.
by the time you finish, you know database and you know geodatabase. To do web GIS, you have to understand how to do website, normal website. And before you finish, so basically we are learning all this. So I think I like the part that you said people should be decisive from straight. I want to do this angle. This is where I want to be. And then you can focus there and learn. But what is your take on the people who also say that GIS is just a tool? So uh, so I've had a lot of comments. I've heard a lot of people saying that GIS is not anything that people have to worry about. It's just a tool like Excel. So you do it and then you use it to create maps and show to your donors or people who want to appreciate what you have done. They just want to see the locations where things have happened. Things are happening. What's your take? Do you think that such mentality and such schooling or education, it's going to help the industry? GIS is just a tool like Excel, or it's just a tool like anything. We should just go ahead and then use it whenever we want to draw a map, basically.
Yeah. So GIS is a tool, which there's no two ways about it. It's just like the Excel, but it's more than the two. It's an act. It's a science. I see it more than a tool, which is the act and the science. You'll be able to develop maps with it, but there are a lot of things behind maps. Map is just the figures and the pictures that we see on papers or even on our machine. But the ability to tell the story behind the map is what actually counts. If you use the GIS as just a tool, that's when you feel insecure about the work you are doing. Because anything which is served as a tool, everybody can learn and everybody can use it. But what will
Yeah,
make you what will make it differentiate is how you're able to tell the story behind that particular product the tool has developed for you. So you can have a lot of analysis. Excel is just an example that you sell. That's just an example that you said. Excel is a tool, but people can use Excel for wonders. People can use Excel to make an analysis that you appreciate that no, you prefer to use this particular person for this work as comparing it to use it for another person. So anything that has served as a tool is true, but the act and science behind it, if you really appreciate it and get to understand how it works, that's when it makes it becomes very powerful. Let me just tell one of my lectures in Ken University just said that everybody in surveying, one of the instruments that we use, total station or total light, you can even teach a monkey to use that tool and he will be able to use the tool. But what makes you a surveyor, what makes you different is how to actually develop the concept behind it, the knowledge that you've accumulated. How do you actually utilize it on the forefront? That will make you more. So if you think of it as a tool, it's fine, but it goes beyond the tool because there is art behind it, there is science behind it, and once you appreciate that, that's when you'll be able to make these marvelous things and you notice that your job won't be an insecure job, but you know that this job is actually for you.
yeah. I think it's more than a two. I always have a problem. My problem is the fact that I don't have a problem if you say it's a two, but I have a problem because it's going to limit the kind of imaginations you would have, and your growth is going to be in a cage because you see it as a two.
Yep,
Like you said, some people are using Excel to do wonders. Those people don't see Excel as a tool. They see Excel as a vehicle to drive whatever they are trying to do. So they can think in the along the edges and come up with things that wows us. Those of us
yep,
who see Excel as a tool, we only go there and we'll try and do maybe a mathematical formula. We'll get our results, copy it, and then go and put it in Word and present. So I think that thinking that GIS is just a tool is dangerous. It's going to affect our thinking. It's going to, if you take any data to Excel, the process would be almost the same. If you take data to GIS, the entire data set needs to change to work in GIS. You need to provide a coordinate system for it. You need to go and find the longitude and the latitudes for it. You need to code the attribute data in a certain format for you to be able to work. And all these things, I think, it makes it for me. I see it like a language. So we teach in English, people can understand. Some people teach in maths, people can understand. GIS take maths, it takes English, and then adds graphics to it to do a communication. So the maths, someone will not see it, but then at the end of the day, the communication that you are seeing is a couple of is a mixture of English, maths, and then graphics. So it's worrying. I work in the university, and it's worrying for me to hear students feel that it's just a tool, and you only needed to do a steady area map. And at the end of the at the end of the day, the problems surrounding our society is actually still facing us, and there are people who are educated and they can't fix it.
yep,
Yeah, I mean, people go ahead and say they are looking for jobs, And one of the things I keep telling myself is that if you really are the kind of person who can solve a problem, once you solve the problem, you're actually creating a job for yourself.
Yep.
Because every job is actually a problem solved. So if you're able to identify problems and you're able to come up with a solution, you're actually creating a job for yourself. So it's very important for us to look at GIS more holistically than just thinking of it as a tool. Okay, so
Yep.
I'm really inspired with what you just said, and I hope that we have people listening, those who had in their mind that GIS is just a tool. We have them listening because it's way beyond that. We can demonstrate it, but if you see what GIS is now doing with machine learning, what GIS is now doing with deep learning. It started like just a basic computer stuff, but now people are interested in where is it happening. Tell me, that's people are only satisfied when you tell them where.
Yep.
Politicians come and make a lot of complaints and we have done this, we have done this, and the next question is where is it?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
don't let me. I just want to add this one to it. I had
yeah,
a chance to do a presentation to some of members of parliament on
yeah,
how GIS tools can actually help us, and we had this nice scenario of one of the forest reserves in Kumasi, whereby urbanization is actually catching up to those areas, and because you have this historical trend, you're able to notice that probably if the government doesn't do anything about it within the next 10 years, the next 5 to 10 years, the forest reserve will get lost because people are now almost circling the forest reserve. So if people have now been able to circle the forest reserve, what will actually happen to it coming the coming years? And once they were able to see that visually on their, like, just for them to say, okay, this is what is actually happening, just tells you, okay, then we are in big trouble. But if you just bring figures, the population is actually increasing by 20%. We are increasing, but having this
yeah,
visual interpretation, okay, which direction are the population actually moving towards to? Oh, okay, they are moving towards this forest reserves, then we have a problem. So that means you have to channel the direction for this population, the urbanization, urban sprawl to move in a different direction. So just as you are saying, if you look at it as just as a tool, you'll be limited. And I mean,
yeah.
from your saying that you'll be insecure, you end up going into a different, yes, into a different sector because you just see it as a tool.
Yeah. I mean that's really true. So I'm just wondering if you are to give an advice to a GIS enthusiast who is watching us, what would be your advice?
Okay, so I think one of the things that I will actually advise GIS enthusiasts is to try and actually find people who are working in the industry and try to talk to them. They should be willing to actually learn because sometimes, for instance, if you talk with me mostly, sometimes what I actually prefer is to just give you ideas of, okay, you are interested in learning GIS, okay, then I'll point you to certain websites to actually see whether you are actually interested in it, or because people are saying you are interested in it, that's why you are just going to be part of the GIS. So what I'll just tell them is that the GIS is actually a broad space for us to explore. Please be patient and learn. Be humble. There are a lot of organizations out there that are using these tools, but probably they are not paying well. So we do use the money aspect to say, okay, without the payment, you won't go there, or you venture into other things. If you are patient and you go there, you are going to learn a lot. And at the end of the day, the future is what actually is important, not now. Because there's this thing that I actually like. My father told me, when you plant a tree, actually it's a norm, it's a common sense. If you plant either a tree or a maize, you don't expect it to grow that same day for you to harvest it. It will actually take some time. So if you actually know what you really want to do, please be patient, be learning, look for mentors, join programs like where Geospatial, be joining them and be seeking for advice, the areas that you can actually be expanding. Don't be thinking about, please, can I get a job? It's good to have a job. Can I get a job? But you should ask, where are the areas I should actually improve myself? Just let them know. If no matter how comment the person will give to you, please don't take it the wrong way. The person actually interested in what you are saying, but he just wants to also guide you. And once you start learning and being patient, you'll be able to actually go to places. And another one that I also, please, for the GIS persons, we don't actually have to be more technical. For me, for instance, I noticed that I was very technical. And if you are doing technical, you can do a lot of things, but people will never appreciate it. Maybe you can have the best solution, but only the technical people will understand it. But we are not the technical people who are living within the country are very few. So you have to also learn to make sure that we're able to communicate our results very well. And those ones we have to learn it on our own and see how best we can approach with our communications. So we have to learn, we have to know how to communicate, and if we're able to do that, it will actually help us to get and enter into the industry.
Yeah, I think on that note, do you think that you just drew my attention to something? The GIS that is being taught so far, my experience with the schools that I've come across, the GIS that is being taught, we are made to understand that GIS, at the end of the day, your results should be visualized. But it seems like we are limited to the scope of the capability of visualization the software we are using can provide us. Do you think GIS courses should start thinking of adding graphic design as a course to it?
Uh,
Thinking about
yeah, I
the
think
communication,
the
visualization and
communications.
communication.
Yeah, no, okay. So I think right now you have like the infographics, which you can actually start adding it to it, because I see them as to be one of the best ways to actually communicate your data to others. You can do the map, you can put the legend there, but people will just look at it, then they'll be asking, what is this, what is that, what is that? But if you have the ability to put them in a form of infographics, whereby you start putting in the form of a trend, what's actually happening over a period of time, when people are able to understand it at their own end, that will actually make an impact. But within the school, I think it would be great to have those communication aspects also as part of the curriculum to help the students to know that it's not only technicalities that's important, but to be able to communicate is also very important.
Yeah, I think we need to think about the GIS, the courses, the curriculum needs to be reviewed because I came across a school in Netherlands that they actually have someone who teaches the students documentary making. And from the point of the student going to the field till when the result is done, the students can actually do a short video that inspires and summarize the story, and everyone will appreciate the work that has gone into whatever results that you are seeing. And I think that is one of those are the petty things. We've left it with the journalist, and we think that that is journalism or something. But I think we need to start thinking about incorporating such things into our GIS because all the graphic designers I have seen who are doing GIS have a different perspective of presenting results.
Yep.
They have a very nice way of presenting results, and their attention to details and color combination makes their work always stands out.
Yeah.
If we are just a normal person who understands how to run the tools, you always take the default color representations that comes with it, or change your. I've always told some of the guys that I work with that if you do a map and I see it anywhere, I can tell this is your map. And then they keep on saying, they keep on saying, why will it? You use the same colors. Your
It's
legend
a-
is always with the same color. You are using the same north arrow. If I check every map and I see it, I see the background of the map and I can tell this is coming from Mr. B, this is coming from Mr. C. And they keep on laughing. But I realize that because we are not graphics people, it's very difficult for us to graphically show our results. So sometimes we've done a lot of work, but it's very difficult to really show the ordinary person to appreciate. Like you're saying, a politician, you put a legend there, and the politician will bypass the legend and point onto this and say, "What is this?" Because they don't really care about your legend. They are not coming to compare the legend with the map. But if
Not
it's
really.
something that is really informative, he or she wouldn't come and say what is this or what is that. So I think it's really interesting. And on a lighter note, why are you not a surveyor? Since every geomatics engineering person is a surveyor.
Oh, I'm still a surveyor, but in the GIS and remote sensing aspect, because we still continue to deal with the lands. So
Oh, okay.
it's still yeah. So GIS remote sensing is still the work line of surveyor, but I don't have to carry total station, leveling instrument, GPS. I don't have to be carrying those ones. I can just sit at the comfort of my house and using these data sets in connection with other traditional data sets to make decisions.
Yeah. So if you had not become a GIS person, would you have been a surveyor? Or there's another job that you would want to?
Yeah, actually, that's actually my father was a farmer, so initially my everything I just wanted to do an agriculture, just wanted to become a farmer like my farmer, so like my father because I was raised up in a farm. So, but later on when I came, as time goes on, and I really know that okay, so there is this also opportunities available, which people actually are also starting to see it and trying to look into the future. I thought about okay, it would be great to venture into the geomatic engineering section to see what can also bring me to up. But if it wasn't for the GIS, initially I will be owning my own farm somewhere. But right now, once I venture into the geomatic engineering, I saw the direction of the remote sensing GIS and I decided to pick that direction. But if not for that, you will have seen me doing either transportation engineering or yeah, land surveying.
Oh, okay. So maybe this might be my last question, but Eddie, you moving around Africa, you've seen a lot. Uh, what would you say we should look out for? Not only GIS enthusiasts, but GIS specialists themselves who are in Africa. Those of us who are working locally, what is the trend running around? What is the technological rumor that we should watch out for? How are we supposed to? What should we do so that we can meet the future to be bright?
Okay, Brian. So I think right now for us, the most important thing is to understand how the technology actually works. We shouldn't just think because right now machine learning is there, which and a lot of algorithms also there. Around that's what people are almost everybody is talking about it. So at the end of the day, even if you're able to do something nicer, one will ask you, did you what machine learning algorithm did you apply on this? But probably the work doesn't actually have to deal with machine learning. So what I will actually want to say is with the GIS technology, it's much bigger than it being a tool. Everybody is across the continent is using it to try and solve a problem at even not at the district level, at the community level. So as those who are here, we should have to try as much as possible to know the various technologies that are available. There are a lot of free tools, a lot of free books online that can guide us to know what we are supposed to do. Because right now that we have a lot of data coming in our way, if we are not prepared for how to use this data, the data will come, they will be sitting there, and you will still be facing the same problems that we are facing because
Yeah.
we still have those data. So for every GIS enthusiastic, what I would say is the technology is not just a tool. Try as much as possible to look beyond it and know what is actually happening within the technology space. There are a lot of online training ongoing, which some are free MOOCs. You can join them and prepare yourself. So once the data comes, once you see these freely data available, you can pick it up and develop your own story out of it and share it with others. And that can actually secure you the next your next job for you. you may never know. So
Yeah.
try as much as possible to do that. And that's what I've actually been seeing across, that people are actually, people, a lot of people have actually seen the capabilities of GIS, and they're actually using it in their at their various institutions.
Oh, okay. So I think you just made a point that's very interesting. That the fact that when you do a work and someone asks you what machine learning algorithm did you use, even if the work doesn't even need a machine learning algorithm, do you think that machine learning, deep learning is overhyped? Because
Yeah, I
someone
think
just someone said someone said that it looks like machine learning and then deep learning are overhyped because now is their season. They are now coming up, so they look very attractive and then they look promising. But over time, everyone will be in machine learning. Everyone will be doing deep learning, and then the job prospects for them will become too competitive, and people need to look elsewhere. Do you share the same thought?
um no, I don't think I share the same. That I think is that machine learning has been there since 1950s. It has been there, but and it was those, all those algorithms that you are using now, they were already there, and they were using it. But just as you say, it's now they are seasoning. The main reason why is they are seasoning is because right now the programming languages has make it easier to interpret these things from the manual calculation to something that is the computer can easily understand. But I see it that it won't become the normal trend. It's going to go into the next level. It will continue to improve upon it. And here we haven't even started using the machine learning. We just, because we don't, we have much data right now. We are accumulating much data here. So if you're able to get much data, for instance, from the Sentinel, the Landsat, if you're able to accumulate a huge bulk of data on this, then that's when we will be applying these heavy algorithms on it. So I don't see it to be a normal trend for people as time goes on, but it will actually move to the next level. So for me, I believe we are still getting there, but we are not there yet.
Okay, okay. So thank you so much. I think it was really, really nice talking to you. And I look forward to having another time. Maybe we would the next remote sensing day, maybe we'll have to do a collaboration with Digital Earth Africa where we can give you more time to talk and show us, demonstrate practically how people can access the data and the things that people are likely to face when they go to the site. So sometimes people go to a site and they don't even know how to navigate themselves around the place. No matter how
Yeah,
books people don't like to read. That's one of the things. So they
yeah,
like to watch video than to read. So maybe we'll have to do a collaboration and then you have more time to discuss. But it was really inspiring talking to you. And I hope that the viewers have also learned something more. This is going to be live on YouTube for as long as it can be there. And we hope that other people will come across it and then they also come to learn and be inspired. And as time goes on, we will still do podcasts, and we hope that one day you would be a host. So you can also one day you'll be a host, so you can also uh, get to ask the very questions that you that has been bothering you, and then you get to know other people's views as well. But viewers, on Saturday we are still announcing that there's going to be a launch of Spatial SDI. What we are doing, the SDI is is basically a micro scale data. We are providing micro scale data. So far, data set that has been provided in the country has been um, regional, district based. We don't even have much about any data lower than district. But there are a lot of pocket data that has been collected at the micro scale, which is sitting on people's computers. So we've done some sort of collation of these data sets that is going to help people to have a baseline to start something from somewhere so you can build on it. And I'm sure that it's also going to provide a lot of support for us and the industry. We have taken upon ourselves to make sure that the industry become comfortable for everyone who wants to come in terms of accessing data, in terms of getting the skills or troubleshooting your issues when you are going around the skills. And I hope that we all meet on Saturday. Tomorrow is interesting. I think tomorrow we are meeting someone who is actually applying GIS in budgeting.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. So I can't wait for tomorrow because I'm just wondering how that is done. And today the finance minister just declared a budget of Ghana. How do we use GIS to tell the finance minister that this budget and this policy you brought to Ghana is going to affect these people much than these people, and so you don't need to bring it, or these people are going to suffer more, so change it. And I think he spoke a lot about percentages, and I couldn't make sense out of them because my question was 75% where. I want to see which people makes up that 75% and whether they are actually beneficiaries or not. So tomorrow I'm expecting tomorrow anxiously, and I hope that we all meet tomorrow and then discuss. Until then, bye bye for now. Eddie, thanks so much.
Thanks, Francis, for having me. Okay,
Thank
bye
you. All right.
bye.
Bye.